So I was recently talking with a student, and the student said, I think that my dad has ADHD. And we were talking about this, and I wanted to address this for all of you, for any of you students out there who are like, do my parents have ADHD? Or maybe you know that your parents have ADHD because they've been diagnosed with it. And I wanted to give you my thoughts around that because it can make life a lot easier to know this. So first of all, when people ask, does somebody have ADHD? If you're asking, does my parent have ADHD, and you're wondering, you're trying to diagnose them, that is not my place, and that is not your place to do. That is why we have doctors who look at this stuff scientifically, and they use something called the DSM, which is the diagnostic manual for finding all sorts of things, but also finding out if somebody actually has ADHD. And this is used by doctors, and you can look this stuff up if you want, but it's not our job to diagnose somebody else. So, however, what I really think is important to focus on is that through the executive function lens, and if you're not familiar with me, what's up? My name is Seth Perler, executive function nerd, and I have a site called sethperler.com. But if you are, executive function is how our brain is helping us to execute or get important things done, manage time, organize, prioritize, plan, all of these sorts of things. The front part of your brain is helping you to execute things. And if you're wondering if your parent has ADHD, I don't know if that's the most important question, but when you look at your parent and you say, well, I can actually talk about executive function with my parent. Does my parent prioritize things properly in your opinion? Do they plan well? Do they organize well? Do they organize their thoughts? Do they have good decision making? Do they have good emotional regulation? You can look at things through an executive function lens because those sorts of things can give you topics to talk with your parents about those things. What's really interesting is that when I'm working with parents, so for you students out there, when I'm working with parents, you wouldn't believe how often I hear, have you ever heard the saying, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree? You wouldn't believe how often I hear parents saying, you know what, as I'm learning about my kid and their ADHD and their executive function, I realize I have executive function challenges too. What do I do if I'm a parent and I have executive function challenges? How am I supposed to help my kid? The good news is that your parent actually has done a lot more work than they realize in terms of learning ways that they can manage and work with their own ADHD or executive function challenges and creating systems in their life, and they can help you build your own. I think one of the problems, and you can talk to your parents about this, is that parents want to say, well, I want you to do it the way I do it or the way I think it's supposed to be done. And really what you want from your parents, in my opinion, humble opinion of course, is for them to be saying to you, hey, let's help you find your own way of doing this thing. How can I help you do that? Rather than dictating to you, this is the way it's supposed to be. So for parents with ADHD, I know that the students that I work with, pretty much all students I've ever worked with, get frustrated with their parents, especially when you start getting into 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th grade. There becomes a lot of conflict with parents. And part of that is because as your brain is developing, your brain is supposed to start seeking independence. That is what is supposed to happen. But oftentimes that can cause a lot of conflict that's not fun and not healthy. That's what we might call dysfunctional or maladaptive, like it's not healthy communication. So what the good news about that is if you have a parent with ADHD or executive function challenges, we often can focus on what's wrong with our parents or how they're not doing this right or talking to us how we want them to, and they're just not understanding and they just don't get us and stuff like that. What I really want to encourage you to do is you're going to have those feelings sometimes, but look on the bright side. Your parents with ADHD or executive function challenges are probably pretty quirky and weird in a good way and fun and funny and interesting and outside the box. Imagine how boring your parents might be if they didn't, or how really, I think the point is to, these are the people who care about you more than anybody in your life, to really look at, that they're doing the best that they know how to do today. They're trying to learn how to do better. They want the best for you. Their intentions are good. And there's some really cool things about them that, we sometimes miss. And I know for me, being away from my family, I don't live near my family, there's a term called distance makes the heart grow fonder. When I'm away from my family, I realize how much I am grateful for them. So just want to encourage you to, as much as you can, also notice the things that are super awesome about your parents, because they probably are doing the best they can. I want to wish you peace. I want to wish you joy, and I want to wish you connection with the people you care about. My name's Seth Perler. Leave a comment below. What do you think about parents with ADHD or executive function challenges? Do you agree with me, disagree? Put your comments below. You can leave a like if you like it and share it with somebody if you want. And take care. Be well.